The newest Football Power Index is just hours old. Yeah, it's May. We already have some Super Bowl favorites. Dolphins, a 0.3% chance. So they're not going to be on this particular graphic. But it's good to be Patrick Mahomes and the reigning champion Chiefs, 21%. The best chance to repeat. Super Bowl favorites are an obvious place to look. What about the new playoff spot? The 7th seed in the AFC, Browns and Steelers, have the best chances to nab that last spot. FPI liking the Seahawks and Rams for that position in the NFC. Tim Hasselbeck, Ryan Clark back with us as promised, and Cowboys ranking 5th according to FPI. Tim, you hear that and you think what?
Who ranked them 5th? That one is shocking to me. I mean, in front of teams like I mean, quite honestly, the Seattle Seahawks, with Russell Wilson as their quarterback. Even a team like the Pittsburgh Steelers that went 8-8 with Duck Hodges and Mason Rudolph as their quarterback last year, and maybe, a healthy Ben Roethlisberger this year. I'm surprised. They lost a couple of good players. When you think about, Byron Jones, you look at the situation on their offensive line, there's been a little bit of change there. I'm not even sure they're the best team in their division. And so to see them at 5, look, quarterback's kind of in a weird contract situation. That seems awfully rich to me. That one stuck out like a sore thumb when I saw it.
I mean, I know that we just love the Dallas Cowboys, and they're just so fun to talk about. Also, Jerry Jones did his draft from a yacht, so that makes me like him more. But this team was 8-8 last year. This team couldn't win the NFC East, and it was the worst division in football. And when I look at the Dallas Cowboys and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who they're ranked over, Tampa Bay Buccaneers won 7 games. And so you're telling me getting rid of a quarterback that threw 30 interceptions, picking up the greatest quarterback of all time isn't worth more wins than getting C.D. Lamb and Mike McCarthy, who was taken out or who was fired from Green Bay because he was underachieving with the best quarterback we'd ever seen until we saw Patrick Mahomes. I just don't understand what the fascination with the Dallas Cowboys is. And I agree with Tim, whoever did this list is obviously way smarter than me, or they just got a lot on their mind right now, because having the Cowboys at 5 is wrong.
I like that Jerry Jones drafting on a yacht impacts how much you like him, Ryan. I appreciate that. That's real. Now, NFL Executive VP Troy Vincent telling NBC Sports the league, quote, failed miserably in its introduction of pass interference replay reviews a season ago. And RC, as somebody who played in NFL secondaries his entire career, Ryan, why did that fall so flat?
Because the NFL tanked. Y'all know the NFL tanked. The NFL was the Miami Dolphins before the 2019 season. They wanted to get to this point, which is also why Troy Vincent is so happy, is so eager to say, hey, guys, we messed it up. The rule fell miserably. Got to scratch it. They didn't want to do it in the first place. And when you look at the way that this rule was handled throughout the season, it almost seemed like they were purposely thumbing their nose at the coaches and at the competition committee, saying, we didn't want this. We didn't want the review. We didn't want there to be extra focus on this call. Go with the subjective call that is made by each referee. It was only put in to stop situations like the LA Rams and the New Orleans Saints in the NFC Conference Championship. That was it. They didn't care about these other calls. And we saw that week in and week out that this call or that this review created more problems than solutions. So they said, you know what? We're done. This was a silent protest that they didn't want the call, and now it's out for good. And so that's why Troy Vincent was so happy to say, oh, guys, we messed this one up.
Hey, this is an area where RC and I can agree on pass interference. Because, look, here's the deal. They basically put in a rule for one play. They put in a rule for one situation that happened. And when you do that, the unintended consequences of that, they just weren't ready for. And so what you ended up having was coaches challenging plays that really wasn't the intention of the rule. And then you had the league stop enforcing it the same way. So you would have people, challenge what they thought was PI. It wouldn't get called PI. You had people trying to overturn stuff that wasn't getting overturned. In some ways, it's no different than what they did with the catch rule when you go back to the Super Bowl with the Philadelphia Eagles and the New England Patriots, where they started officiating the catch rule differently in that game. Mm-hmm. And so when you do that, you don't have coaches that understand the rule, you don't have fans or players that understand the rule, and it's an absolute mess, and it's a failure. And so that's what happened. I think what you do at this point is just let the call on the field stand. It's going to stink if you get it wrong, but you can't just have this ambiguity about what's going to get overturned and what's not.
Sometimes they say it's not great TV if both sides agree on two issues. I think we just disproved that. Whatever the NFL does decide on, Vincent said, quote, we cannot fail this year. Ryan Clark, Tim Hasselbeck with the insight.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.